Welcome back, amazing business owners, creatives, photographers, anyone that is running a business doing what they love and wants to actually make a living doing so. I am so excited for today's episode. I have an amazing guest. Her name is Stacy Tuschl, and she is the founder of Foot Traffic. So she specializes in helping small businesses get more traffic so that that amazing content you're creating all the time can actually be seen. We are going to talk about a lot of things. First, we're going to talk about implementation. How do you take what you've learned and actually make it happen? And what is your responsibility in doing that, which is so key. Second, we're going to talk about systems and processes and what that looks like and how you probably already have a system, even if you don't think so, because it's residing in your brain right now. And finally, we're going to chat about leadership because so many business owners think that they are not leaders just because they're not politicians or they're not Bill Gates or they're not running these multi-billion-dollar corporations. But the reality is that as a business owner, people are coming to you for a reason. So we are going to chat about all the things. If you love this episode and you want to hear more, can you head on over to iTunes and leave a review? I know it's small. I know it seems silly, but it means so much to us. It helps me know how I can better serve you, what you want to learn, and it helps me get amazing guests like Stacy. So let's talk all about leadership, systems, processes, implementation, all the things, and welcome the awesome Stacy Tuschl. Hey there, awesome people. I am Brooke Summer, and you are listening to Business Straight Up, the podcast for creative entrepreneurs to learn, connect, grow, and build the business and life that they dream of. Welcome, let's get going and dive right in. Hello, awesome business owners, creatives, photographers. Welcome to another episode of Business Straight Up, the podcast for creative business owners who want to actually make a living doing what they love. I'm so excited to have you here today. Thank you so much for joining me. We have a very special treat today with an amazing guest who is so on the same page as I am when it comes to systems in your life and your business. And I'm so excited to have her here.
Okay.
Stacy Tuschl is a best-selling author, podcast host, and founder of the Foot Traffic Formula, helping small businesses around the world get more customers in the door. Because what good is amazing content if you don't actually have someone looking at it, right? Thank you so much for being here, Stacy.
Hi, Brooke. Thanks for having me.
I have so many questions for you, so many things to talk about, because I know that we both love to implement systems to make our lives easier. But first, can you share a little bit about who you are, what you love, and how you got to where you are right now?
Yeah, absolutely. And if you don't love systems, it's because you're not doing it right. And once you start doing it right, you're going to
Right?
go, whoa, the fact of what you'll feel will
Yes.
make you fall in love with it. So,
Yes.
yeah, thanks for having me. So I've been an entrepreneur like right out of high school. I basically was continuing my love of dance, started, having just a free competitive dance team that I created in my parents' backyard. I had 17 kids that summer. And within 3 years, I had 100 kids coming to my parents' backyard.
Oh my
And
gosh.
it was again just for, I loved dancing. I wanted to continue it, but the idea wasn't to create a business. It was just to like continue with my passion.
Yes.
And thankfully I grew up in an entrepreneurial family. We have a family business that's over 50 years old. We're in the construction field.
Wow.
And my family said, I think you might have a business here. Like, I don't know what the dance world looks like, but 100 kids getting dropped off every single Sunday started to be this massive thing in our community. And thankfully, I had my family, my parents and my grandparents kind of transfer that confidence, because I definitely had a lack of confidence of, could I do this?
Yes.
But they transferred it to me and said, you've got something, let's try this. So I did. And the Backyard Story started 18 years ago. Today, I run 2 performing arts academies in Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Oh my
So we
gosh.
teach dance, music. We have a fine arts preschool program. That's a state licensed preschool. And we have like 1,000 kids getting dropped off every week, every single week, taking dance or music or
Wow.
preschool. And it's just crazy what it's grown into. Yes, 2020 has thrown us a little
Mm.
curveball,
Just a little
but
bit.
we're taking it on. We've taken on the challenge.
Yeah.
And about 5 years ago, I started coaching other small business owners that were just basically going, "How are you doing this? Teach me everything." And
Right?
I am a teacher at heart, so I fell in love with that very quickly.
Isn't it funny how kind of our past experiences can find themselves into our current situation? So I have,
Absolutely.
in every single job I've ever had, I've been a teacher. Like I've always moved into
Yes.
training. And it's so funny to me now to kind of watch how that works
Yeah.
on the other side of my business, right?
Absolutely. I think as entrepreneurs, we just naturally are leaders. We step into that
Yes.
more often. So when I talk
Yes.
to entrepreneurs, they'll be like, "Oh, I was the captain of this team," or
Of course.
I was the person that always ranked this high," or like we've always just been driven. It's in our
Yes.
nature.
Yes. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh. So we're definitely going to talk about leadership, but first I want to talk kind of about implementation because I know that so many business owners will go through the Facebook groups and learn amazing things. They'll go through courses and other
Yeah.
resources and all of these educational things to learn new skills that they need to further their businesses, but then they don't actually do anything with what they've
Yeah.
learned. And I know that we have a shared mentor in James Wedmore who says constantly action creates clarity. I even have a bracelet with it on it. Can you share more about what that means for you and what that looks like when it comes to actually doing the things that you've learned?
Yeah, and I think too, we have a responsibility to implement. And
Mhm.
if we don't implement, don't say, "Oh, I didn't get a return on my investment in that course or in that mentor, in
Yes,
that coach." It's like,
yes.
whoa, 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 slow down. We all, when we're in that Facebook group watching that Facebook Live and somebody presents us with an idea, if you don't implement, that's on you. That's not on them.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so that
Yes.
bugs me because people be like, "Oh, I went to that conference, but I didn't get a return." I'm like, is that your way of basically putting the blame on them versus saying,
Right?
"I didn't do anything after I got home from that conference, therefore I
Right?
didn't get a return." So, I think, the book came because people just kept saying, "How are you getting this all done?" I am a mom of 2. Right now they're 5 and 7. But I built my second business while being pregnant, while having a newborn, while
Um,
my 2.5-year-old was in a full body cast for 12 weeks at the same time.
oh my gosh.
I've got 2 businesses, 2 locations in the one business. Like I've got 50 employees. So when people look at me and they're like, "How are you doing this?" The
Mhm.
the biggest word that I kept coming up with was implementation. I don't
Yes.
just consume, I produce, right? I go
Yes.
in there and I implement. And that is where I think my biggest frustration comes in when I'm working with clients of, are you actually putting in the time, putting in the energy to even allow yourself to get a return on whatever that investment was, whether it's a book you're reading, whether it's a course you're taking, the Facebook live, this podcast.
Yes.
Somebody's going to listen to us, Brooke, and they are going to come up with an idea that will make them X amount of dollars. Somebody
Yes.
else is going to be like, "Huh, this was good," and then never do anything from it.
Absolutely. And that's the difference between success and not, right?
Absolutely.
Oh my gosh. So if you see me looking down, I'm a little self-conscious in video. It's because I'm taking notes. I
Oh no,
promise
you're always
I'm not ignoring you. I got my color pens and everything. I could not agree more. I've talked about this a few times lately in Facebook groups, and people will just rip apart educators and their courses. And I don't know that these courses are amazing, but
Yeah.
I notice a theme over and over again of no, it was just too hard. And I'm like, well, did you expect it to be done for you? Like you're
Yeah.
learning a skill, you're not hiring an agency. Those are two very different things.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think it's the biggest thing is there is a massive lack of taking ownership, taking that responsibility.
Yes.
And the faster you can move into, "This is my job, my goal, my
Yes.
responsibility," you will move so much faster than most people.
Oh my gosh, so much. And for someone who feels overwhelmed by all the things, like we
Yeah.
have all the Facebook stuff and the podcast and we want to learn all of these skills and then implement them and then they get overwhelmed. And I know this is
Mm.
me too. I get overwhelmed paralysis. I'm like, this is amazing. I take
Yeah.
amazing notes, awesome notes and then I'm like I don't know what to do next. How can they gain confidence to feel more on top of things so that they can get out of that paralysis?
Yeah. So we get paralyzed because we think we have to do all of the things. And that,
Mhm.
of course, is overwhelming because you can't do all of the things. Um,
Yes.
I think the biggest thing that I want you to understand is self awareness is so key in your
Yes.
business success. The more you can be aware of what is working and what is not, and letting go of what is not, and then
Mhm.
going like deep into what is working, the more success you will have. So if you keep scrolling Instagram every day for 30 minutes or an hour, or you're in Facebook groups, start to ask yourself, am I getting anything out of this?
Yes.
And let's just say this as we talk about taking ownership, am I putting in what I need to put in to get out of it what I could get out of it, right?
Yes.
So you might not be getting a return on Facebook groups, but let's be honest, you might be doing it pretty mediocre, right?
Mhm.
So the question is that a place where you should go all in and really reap the rewards, or is it something that you're just not good at and it needs to be,
Yeah.
you need to let go of it, right? So I think the more we can really assess what is working. I was talking to a client who had 3 clients that week. She got 3 clients. And she was like, okay, I'm doing this on Instagram, and then I'm going to do this over here. And I said, wait, where did those 3 clients come from? And she said, one was from Instagram DM. And then, or no, it was like one was like a paid workshop. So she must have got them from like Facebook ads.
Mhm.
And then the other one was 2 of them came from a Facebook group, a strategy she was doing in a Facebook group.
Yeah.
So I said, okay, great. The paid workshop works. And so does
Mhm.
the Facebook group. Where is that on your calendar coming up in the next 30 days, 60 days, 90 days?
Right.
And why do you have so much attention and focus on Instagram when you have not gotten anything from Instagram yet?
Yes.
Right
Absolutely.
now, I'm not saying don't use Instagram. We get clients from Instagram all the time, but I am
Yes.
saying look at what you are doing and what you are getting out of that. You just might not
Yes.
be able to pour into Instagram right now, so it's not effective. But when you start to master 1 or 2 of these other skill sets, you can then add on the next thing.
Yes, and that self-awareness and knowing what is working and what isn't is
Yeah.
so incredibly important, but also so you know what you like and what you don't, which sounds
Yeah.
dumb, right? Because we can't just give up everything we don't like, but when you're a business owner, you kind of can. Like if you don't like doing your finances, that's why I have a bookkeeper.
Mhm.
You can outsource these things once you learn how and you know the foundation so that you know how to hire someone
Right.
appropriately.
Right. There's about 4 things that I have on my plate. And I could probably outsource all. And no, I could outsource all. Like, even I was
Mhm.
just going to say, like, well, I do a lot of team meetings and I'm the leader there. Yeah, but I could hire a CEO and be the investor. So
Yes.
let's just be honest. There's not many things you couldn't outsource, right? So
Yes.
yeah, really leaning in. And like I said, I've got 4 to 5 things that I do on my schedule, and it's just a repeat of those all week long. Find out
Yes.
what you're great at and just zone in on that.
Absolutely. I could not agree more. What if you didn't have to worry about writing emails to your list for the next 6 months and maybe even a year? Yes, it's true. It's finally here. My students have been asking me for this for years, and I have heard you, and these templates are finally available. Engaging Emails Done is a quick workshop and template bundle to help you harness the power of email marketing to grow your business. You can set it and forget it and actually book more clients. If you're like, Brooke, I am so in. Where do I grab these? Head on over to businessstraightup.com/emailsdone to grab this special limited bundle. If you want to hear a little more, I feel you. I like details too. These templates are designed to be done for you to set up several months of emails in just an hour. Plus, I've recorded several how-to videos to walk you through the technical steps for several different email service providers if you're not sure how to customize and schedule them. Engaging Emails Done has not only a quickie email marketing 101 how-to if you're starting from scratch, but it includes a minimum of 12 email templates that you can schedule ahead of time to take something off of that never-ending to-do list so you can focus on what you love most. Side note, I did say a minimum of 12 because I keep thinking of things to add, so you might even get more than 12. These are brand new. I've never offered something like this before, so grab your email templates plus Email Marketing 101 plus tech tutorials before the price goes up. Grab these templates, tutorials, and help all at businessstraightup.com/emailsdone. Again, that's businessstraightup.com/emailsdone. I actually keep my to-do list in Asana. I know you use monday.com. Kind of the same idea, project management,
Yeah.
list of things to do. But quite frankly, I don't think my to-do list has ever been crossed off like in my life. ever. And one of my assistants, that drove her crazy, that she couldn't actually cross things off and have it completely empty.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that I have some strategies to stay productive, even with that never ending to-do list, so that I get things done and I choose
Yeah.
my priorities for the day, all that good stuff. What strategies or tips do you have, or what do you suggest to start checking things off the list and actually
Mm-hmm.
getting more done every day?
Yeah. So, first of all, everybody needs at least one person working for them, right? I mean,
Yes.
everybody. When I hear that somebody's a solopreneur, it's like, how?
Yeah.
How?
Yeah.
Are you working 60, 70, 80 hours a week, or are you making this a side hustle and you're giving it just a tiny bit of time? Because there is just no way that you can be everything for
Yeah.
your business
Yeah.
with bringing the kind of energy your business is going to need. So you need to hire somebody. And
Yes.
as you hire somebody, you need to again assess, where is our time best spent? Tell him or her where to spend that time to get the return. And the more
Yes.
you money you bring in, the more you just keep hiring. So I am always having a wish list of my next 1 to 3 hires. Like my team
Yes.
always knows like who's coming on board next, because we also want to make sure that if everybody knows that my team is going to be bringing on a marketing assistant and an accountability coach, if one of my employees is like, oh my goodness, my friend would be perfect for this, I need to tell her or tell Stacy that I've got somebody who'd be perfect for that position. So the more
Yes.
your team is aware of your wish list, or the more you are telling people who's on that wish list, you're going to
Mm-hmm.
get people to approach you. Actually, that's how we have our, who is now our sales manager. I was talking in a podcast of what's to come for foot traffic and where we're
Mm-hmm.
heading. And I said, definitely need to hire another salesperson. And this person DM'd me on Instagram and said, hey, I just heard you say this, and I want to be like first in line when you're
Yes.
ready to hire that person. Fast
Yes.
forward a year later, she is now our sales manager.
And probably
So,
amazing and a great
and
fit.
amazing.
Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, my point is, build your dream team. So, when you say, I don't get a lot done on my to do list, I will tell you that my to do list is so teeny tiny every week.
Yes.
My team is aware of what it is. There's like 4 things. This is a short week. We're recording this as of
Well, yeah.
Thanksgiving week.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it's a
yeah.
little different this week, but there's like 4 things on my list that my entire team knows that I'm supposed to do.
Yes.
That accountability is massive. If you're
Yes.
keeping your to-do list a secret from your team, you need a boss so bad, right? So tell them what you are planning on doing and
Yes.
have them hold you accountable. But at the same time, my goal is to look at my to-do list and get rid of every single task,
Yes.
unless it's something that, so like my to-dos this week is literally record this specific podcast. Like I have to talk to the lawyer about something, literally things that I am the only person that can do it. Everything else
Yes.
off my plate.
Yes. I had my podcast editor ghosted me like back in April. And so just disappeared. And so I learned editing because you know what? We were in the middle of COVID and I figured it out. And now in the past week, I have a new editor and I'm so excited. And I
Yeah.
think so many people don't understand that when you hire someone, it doesn't have to be a full-time gig. Like you can
Completely.
hire a full-time employee,
Yep.
but this person does podcasts for me 4 hours a week. Okay, 4 hours a week. You don't have to hire someone full time. So it sounds scary, but really it'll be the best thing and most freedom producing thing that you will ever do in your business.
Yeah. And if you are just working by yourselves, there are tasks in your business that are $10 an hour tasks, $15 an hour tasks.
Yes.
And unfortunately, you're literally paying yourself that kind of money to do those tasks.
Absolutely.
So you've got to get at least the lower level tasks off your, I've hired my 16-year-old niece. Like she works in my business and we give her things that it's like, she can't really mess them up. And somebody's managing her, not me, but somebody else. So it's like, utilize anybody to help you get some of those lower level tasks done.
Absolutely. I think that it's something that so many people are hesitant to do because they have this idea of an employee and benefits, and it's not always like that. You can just bring someone on on such a small scale. It makes such a difference.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the perfect segue into my next question, because to hire someone, you have to have something else in place. Systems and processes have been life-changing in my business, and I don't use those words lightly at all. So many of my students have shared that the thought of implementing any systems in their businesses, their processes is very overwhelming. Can you share some tips to help someone set up their first repeatable process to get some freedom back?
So first, understand that everything you do and have repeatedly done, there is a system, right?
Yes.
So even something as weird as like booking your airfare to go on a personal vacation, you
Yes.
have a system, it's in your head.
Yes.
You like, if we dug deep right now and I would ask you questions, you might be like, well, I first look for nonstop. And then if I can't get nonstop, then I'm looking for this. And if it is nonstop, but it's over this price point,
Yes.
do not do it, right? Like you have a system. Your brain knows what you like and what you don't like, right? So what I want you to understand is people will say like, "Oh, I could never teach somebody what I do." Oh my, I literally want to take you and shake you and go, "No, no,
Right?
no. No, no, no. I promise." Like I had like somebody who was a house flipper and she was so like set on the fact that no one could flip a house like her, and even if she taught it, no one can do it. I'm like, "Listen, Joanna Gaines has an assistant who's probably doing most of the flipping and she's
Right.
overseeing."
Right.
So if you think that anybody, like guys, I'm not kidding, most of these people are not doing things.
Yes.
So what I love to do when I'm kind of setting these systems up is I'm setting somebody up for success. They're following the system, but I'm proofing, or maybe a manager is proofing
Yes.
that last little 20% before it goes to the public. So don't be
Yes.
afraid to outsource. You can do it and still double check it,
Yes.
right?
Absolutely.
So yeah, so please know that there are systems, they're just in your head. So
Yes.
even how you plan your week, you might have a thorough like Sunday night meeting with yourself, or Monday morning you sit down with your cup of coffee, and or you're like, nope, I just open up my calendar. That's a system. It
Yes.
might not be a good system, but you do have a system, right? So now the question is, how do we start to do it in a repeatable way so
Mhm.
you can start to like drill this and it becomes a habit? How can you
Yes.
start to handle these in the same way if somebody else is answering your email, right?
Mhm.
So I think a lot of clients that come to me and they're like, how do I get out of the decision making? I just
Yes.
don't know how to delegate this. And I always tell them first, if you don't have a system for something and somebody emails angry, then of course they come to you. But
Yes.
set it up one time with them. And then if this ever happens again, this is the system you should follow, right? So if
Absolutely.
there's an angry client, we're going to have a structure of a template like XYZ,
Mhm.
follow that system. And then if something happens that's out of that system, never happened before, then come back to me and we'll set up a new system.
Yes, definitely. I have started recording things that I want someone else to do. So I just use Snagit. It's a super simple program, but I just record, and they're like 5-minute videos, and I
Yeah.
record them and then I send it to my assistant. And as long as she has a video, what's nice about that is I don't have to repeat myself 20 times. So
Yes.
if she needs to reference it in the future and is like, wait, what was I supposed to, what setting was that? She can just go to the video. She doesn't have to come to me again. And these
Yeah.
videos are not fancy. They don't have fancy intros. They don't have credits. They don't have any of that. They're just super simple videos
Yeah.
that take 5 minutes.
Yeah, screen sharing. I love that you brought that up. I think video, I mean, I've been doing business for 18 years. So our systems used to be typed out little
Oh,
things.
yeah.
And sometimes
Manuals.
we would miss like half of the
Yeah.
step. We're like, oh yeah, we forgot to
Yep.
mention this. But when you like share your screen and you actually do the thing, you won't miss
Yes.
steps. So I love that you brought up video systems.
Yes. Oh, it makes life so much easier.
Yes.
I'm going to move away from productivity and
Okay.
chat a little bit about leadership. We talked about it a little bit at the beginning, but I have heard from so many small business owners that I'm not a leader. I'm not a leader because they're not on the grand scale of like politicians or corporation owners like Bill Gates. They're not
Mhm.
these huge billion-dollar businesses. And I believe so much that every single business owner is a leader in some way, because stepping outside of the norm in our culture of getting a job is at its core rebellious. And right now, we are in the middle of some crazy things happening in our world that we have never seen in our lifetimes, and my parents have never seen in their lifetime either. When this is published, it'll be 2021. We'll still be moving forward. Right now, we're still kind of in the thick of it. What tips do you have for business owners to embrace that leadership role so that they can lead in their businesses and their communities?
Yeah. So, Brooke, great question. I think you have to understand your organizational chart or strategy in your organization. If it's just you, you're right here. It's just like
Yeah.
you by yourself. When you start
Yes.
to bring people on, right? all of a sudden it can start to be like, there's a bunch of people and they're all coming to you. Pretty soon you're going to have to say, okay, what is the organizational structure here and who should be going to who? And
Yes.
does this person go to your assistant before they come to you, Brooke? And like, what does that look like? Right. So when you start to see this organizational chart and you are at the top and there are people that come to you and you are supporting them, you will start to visually see you are leading this organization,
Yes.
right? You are leading the organization, you are leading a team of people, and you are leading your clients. You know, more so when COVID hit, I never realized how much I was leading my customers. Like that wasn't something that even like, I don't know. It wasn't something I even thought of. And all of a sudden I felt like I was coming on, being the inspiration, doing a weekly video for them to be like, we are going to get through this. And I really felt like, wow, I'm like stepping into this leadership role with my clients and my customers. Now, I'm sure many people thought I was already doing that, but in my mind, I don't know that I thought I was doing that. So I think that was a big shift for me, but just know like you are positively or negatively impacting the people that work for you, work with you, are hiring you. You get to decide like who you want to be to them.
Yes. And one thing that I found is that when I stepped into that, especially with COVID, like we can talk about the things that came from 2020 all day, but I was overwhelmed. I would find myself breaking down, like, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know, my kids are home, everyone's home, nothing is working properly. And when I said, okay, you know what, no matter what, I am going to do a video and talk to my clients, and I'm going to do a video and talk to my students, that helps you to take the focus off of that negative and the challenges so that you can move into, you know what, this is who I am. And I am going to step up and say, we are going to be okay. We're going to get through this.
Yeah, for sure. I think 2020 has demanded us to step up as leaders.
Yes.
It really has. I mean,
Yes.
there's no other way to describe what has gone on these last, 11 months of this year.
Absolutely. And it's scary, right? Like it's to be forced into a position that you're not used to is very scary, but you do it, like you make it work. What's that phrase? Jump and the net will appear, which is terrifying, but we make it work.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree more.
What are some of your top processes in your business? Like you're like, I cannot do without this one.
Oh, I mean, all of them. Like I'll go into just a few that like when you don't have these and then you implement them, you're like, how did I not?
Right.
So like an onboarding client process.
Which
like,
again is leadership, right?
Right. I mean,
yes.
If you're just like, yeah, I'm hiring them and I don't know what we're going to talk about today, but we've got a call at 9 together. That is not onboarding a client, right? Like, or not a client. Well, either way, client and team member. I was going to say both. So onboarding somebody to work with you or onboarding somebody that has hired you, you need to set the tone for both of those people, right?
Yes.
Because people can get buyer's remorse and then ask for a refund, right? They're like, I don't know if this is for me. Or even worse, they're like, I don't think I should have taken this job. And they quit after you've trained them for 3, 4, 5 weeks.
Oh my gosh, that's heartbreaking.
It is. Because it's a waste of time and money.
Yes.
So having that onboarding for, again, customers and employees or contractors can be a massive system that you will feel the difference. Because when you set the tone, because let's be honest, people make a decision about us within just a few seconds, a few days of working together. They've made up their mind about you, right? So when you come in and you set the bar high, it is so much better than when you show up late or unprepared or what am I doing next? And they're making up all these judgments about you. Like, I don't think this is the place for me, right?
Yes.
Whoever they are. So I think onboarding, massive, it'll be a big difference for you. I think the way that we set goals, whether I would be a solopreneur or having a team, I would set them the same way. But the way that I show up on a Monday and delegate to the team and the way that we do daily check-ins to see where we're at and have that accountability, that it just moves our business forward. Like this past week, we had 80 tasks. These are tasks that are one time. They're not reoccurring routines. So like in Instagram, somebody who posts on our Instagram, she doesn't have on there like post on Instagram today because that's on her regular. So out of that many tasks, we completed like 96% of our weekly goals from last week as a team. And the only reason that is happening is because somebody is following up. Somebody is going, hey guys, it's Wednesday and we only have 52% of our tasks done. Where are we at? What do we need? Who needs support? That's massive.
That is huge. I love that. I'm going to head back to onboarding for just a
Yeah.
second because I work with so many service providers. So there are
Yes.
businesses that are
Oh,
service
huge.
providers, estheticians, wedding planners, all of these things. And so many people ask me as a boudoir photographer, well, how do people know that you expect this of them? How do people know? I'm like, this is all laid out. I have a system of 11 emails total that goes to someone before
Mhm.
before they have their session, and all
Yeah.
of it is laid out crystal clear, and that is a system that is not only put in place but it's automated. Because why am I going to send emails myself? That doesn't make sense when a system can do that just as well as I can.
Absolutely.
Oh, that's huge. Accountability with teams, how do you know that you're like at 52%?
Yeah. So we are using Monday, like you said.
Hmm.
And in there, like today's Monday as we're recording this. So
Hmm.
we already mapped out what everybody has to get done this week. Everybody knows. So number one, we assign tasks to a specific person. So there's no
Okay.
confusion, right?
Yes.
And then we have like, I don't know if this is just something on Monday, but our tasks
Hmm.
are hooked up to like a battery. So every
Oh,
day,
wow.
yeah, we have somebody that looks at the battery and she's like, 20% is done and 13% are working on it. There's
Yeah.
3% that say stuck. So what are you guys stuck on? Who needs help here? So we're literally
Wow.
keeping track of our team. And it's like, this is not like, oh, you take ownership for what you do. This is like, you better go help whoever needs help and whoever says they're
Yeah.
stuck, somebody fix it now. So
Yes.
as a team, our identity is tied to like that 95% completion rate every week. We do give
Yes.
ourselves that 5% of like something is going to happen. We're
Yeah.
waiting on
Of
something
course.
or, something slips through the cracks. But 95% as a team, if we all of a sudden drop next week because Sarah didn't do what she was supposed to do, people will be like, Sarah, what's going on here? Like you just heard our number
Yes.
because it is our identity of like, we get
Yes.
things done here at Foot Traffic.
Yes. And that kind of changes the whole culture of the team as well.
Yes.
And that like the
We
business in turn.
Totally. We are go-getters. We are fast. And if
Mhm.
you are not fast, you will not last here very long because you are going to
Yes.
hate that everybody else is cruising and you're like, "What? Where are we going? What's going on? Where do I meet? What do I?"
Yes.
They just don't make it here. And we definitely have a culture of being resourceful, being driven, like customer centric, and we go.
Yes. And that comes from you. Like that goes back to that
Absolutely.
leadership part
Leadership.
too, right? Like if the
Yeah.
leader is going, oh, I just don't know. I don't know what to do next. And I don't know what to focus on. Then everyone else is going to feel the same way. And it gets to
Yeah.
be very frustrating for anyone that's working with you as well. Because if
Yeah.
the leader doesn't know where the hell you're going, then how can anyone get anywhere?
Yeah. And we have 5 company values that actually mean something to us. And if I'm
Hmm.
not happy with somebody on the team, I can look at those 5 and go, oh, she's not doing number 3. Like that's why
Yes.
I'm not happy. I've never looked and been like, I'm not happy, but oh man, she's got all 5 nailed down. That's
Yeah.
never the case. It's always like, oh, she's not doing number 5. And number 5 is
Yes.
a game changer, a deal breaker.
Yes.
So that I think really helps. And we shout out our values every
Hmm.
Monday. We acknowledge somebody that displayed one of our values. So our team, like you said with the clients, they want to know what's expected of them. So does your
Yes.
team. They want to know what you expect.
Yes, when someone hires you, whether you're working with a client or a team member, like they have expectations that you are the
Mhm.
expert and you are going to help them get to where they
Yeah.
need to go, right? That's what business is, like this transformation, this I have a problem, how can you help me? And if you don't lay out what that looks like, then they're going to be very confused. And ultimately, you are the expert. And if you don't take that seriously, then everyone's going to be confused.
Absolutely.
Oh my gosh. I love this. Thank you so much for being here today, Stacy. Your expertise is so valuable and I appreciate your time. For anyone that's listening that wants to learn more and is like, where do I get company values? How do I do all this? Where can they find out more about you, what you do, what you offer?
Yeah. So my podcast is called Foot Traffic. On social media, I'm everywhere at Stacy Tuschl. My website, stacytuschl.com. I would say Instagram is the best place to just DM me or reach out to me. But yeah, those are great places to start for sure.
I love that. To all of the listeners and business owners that have joined us today, thank you so much for listening. I am truly honored that you press play in your earbuds, your car stereo, walking your dogs, wherever you are. If you are someone that likes to help other people and you know someone who can use this information and they're just maybe they're struggling and you know that this would help them, please send it over to them. I know that Stacy and I would both appreciate that. And if you are thinking, holy moly, Brooke, this content is awesome, what can I do to pay you back for this free content on the podcast? I have a way you can help, and it doesn't cost you a thing. If you can just head over to iTunes and leave a review. I know you hear it from podcasters all the time. I know it seems small, but it means the world to us. It helps me know how I can better serve you, and it helps me get amazing guests like Stacy, who are just business powerhouses. So these reviews help me so much. If you type out your review, take a screenshot and email it to hello@businessstraightup.com. I have a free gift for you because I appreciate you that much. Thank you again, Stacy.
Yeah, Brooke, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
For everyone listening today, I want to know, what are steps you are going to take to start implementing some of the amazing skills that you learn and actually take action instead of just sitting there and going, what the heck do I do next? Let me know in the community at businessstraightup.com/community. Keep moving forward, learning and taking action on all of your biggest goals. And even through the challenges and chaos that 2020 has brought us, I know 2021 is going to be better, but you know what? We're going to keep moving forward. I can't wait to see what you do with your business and how you change the world. Have an amazing day. Thank you so much for listening to Business Straight Up. I'm so glad that you could join us today. Check out the show notes for this and all of the episodes at businessstraightuppodcast.com. And I can't wait to talk with you again. Have a great day.